New data just came out, and it is really shocking. Apparently, EVs are catching fire in unbelievable numbers. And not long ago, the major manufacturer BYD just had their 10th showroom fire in the last 3 years alone. EV owners have had enough issues to worry about, and honestly, this might be the last nail in the coffin for the once loved so-called superhero. So let's not waste your time and just dive into it. Now, let's not sugarcoat it. Electric vehicles are like the new rock stars on the road. Sleek, silent, and supposedly eco-friendly. But headlines left and right are coming out now, showing the exponential growth in fire incidents related to EVs. Take BYD for instance, a major player in the electric vehicle market. The brand has experienced showroom fires 10 times in the last 3 years alone. This troubling pattern highlights the severity of the issue, and these aren't just one-off cases. They seem to be happening more frequently and to a lot of brands. These things can leave a burning question in your mind. Are these electric dreams turning into fiery nightmares? Especially when there's such a big push to roll out more EVs. We all know that fires can break out following a collision, and while that risk isn't unique to EVs, it does come with its own set of challenges because of the battery. But the most unsettling thing? Reports of EVs catching fire seemingly without any cause, sometimes just sitting there parked and not in use. This randomness makes the issue even more concerning for both consumers and safety engineers. One of the major causes of these issues is something called thermal runaway. Now, don't let the term scare you. It is really simple to understand. In the battery pack of an EV, when one cell starts to overheat, it can cause a chain reaction, leading to a complete meltdown. This can lead to fires, which are, needless to say, dangerous. But it's not all doom and gloom. Engineers are on it, working tirelessly to improve battery management systems and materials that can withstand higher temperatures. But while we celebrate the advancements, it's crucial to acknowledge the room for improvement. Current solutions like liquid cooling systems are placing a band-aid on a wound that needs stitches. Effective, but not foolproof. We need more robust safety mechanisms that can nip thermal runaway in the bud. Now, this might have seemed like a small problem, but remember, I just gave you the most simplified version of this issue. There is more to it when you dig deep. You might have heard about terms like anodes, cathode, and electrolyte thrown around when discussing thermal runaway. Here's a quick breakdown. The anode and cathode are the positive and negative ends of a battery, and the electrolyte is the medium that allows the flow of electrical charge between the two. When these components get too hot, that's when the trouble starts. Despite some reassurances that these incidents are rare, reality shows a different picture. While they may not be exceedingly common, the number of fire cases is significant and frequent enough to cause real concern among consumers and safety officials. There's a clear need for ongoing research and development to find more reliable solutions to prevent these dangerous happenings. So while embracing electric vehicles comes with its benefits, ensuring they're safe as possible remains an ongoing and critical issue that requires comprehensive attention. But here's the thing, companies like BYD are always in trouble because of this exact thing. They don't really have a strict regulatory body watching over them, or at least that was once the reason everyone thought when another one of their cars caught fire, this time at a showroom in Fuzhou, the capital city of the Chinese province of Fujian. Imagine a parked car suddenly bursting into flame. That's exactly what happened. A video of the incident quickly went viral, showing the showroom completely engulfed in flames. According to NTD TV, this marks the 10th such incident since 2021, pointing to a worrying trend. The fire department responded quickly, deploying 29 firefighters and 7 fire trucks to the scene. Despite their prompt arrival and vigorous efforts, they struggled to control the blaze. After battling the fire for a full hour, they were unable to save the building or the other vehicles inside. The intense heat and rapid spread of the fire made their efforts largely ineffective, highlighting the notorious difficulty of extinguishing EV fires. Thankfully, no injuries were reported, which is a huge relief. The safety of people is always a top priority, and it's fortunate that no one was harmed in this incident. But the key thing to learn here is that this is not just a BYD problem. However, this fire came at a particularly bad time for the company. Let me explain. For some time now, their sale numbers have been impressive, but they are facing significant challenges in expanding their market presence beyond China. At the moment, a staggering 95% of their sales are confined to the domestic market. and incidents like this only add to the hurdles they must overcome to gain a foothold in international markets. Why should we care? Well, this is a big issue because this company just took the throne from Tesla, and the way they did it was by cutting prices and undercutting the competition, which is a good thing because this way, people who wanted the benefits of EVs without being worried that much about cost could get one. But it also meant that they made a cheap EV and sold it at a cheap price. In short, it seemed like they were cutting down on quality assurance, and a lot of people were thinking that this would be the end of the affordable EV segment. Some people thought that you just couldn't make EVs suitable for the masses, which is truly unfortunate. But when you dig deeper, you see a bigger trend and a cause that goes beyond just having a cheap, poor quality car. Meet the Jaguar I-Pace, a bold leap into the electric vehicle realm by the British automaker, and a true standout in its class. Despite its fiery reputation, this champion embodies luxury and performance, traits long associated with Jaguar, albeit coupled with concerns about reliability. Lately, the I-Pace has been making waves in the news, but not quite in the way Jaguar would prefer. Reports are flooding in about incidents where the I-Pace catches fire, especially when parked at charging stations. These occurrences unfortunately have become all too common, prompting Jaguar to take swift action. Last year, they initiated a significant recall, affecting over 6,400 units in the US market alone, due to critical issues with the vehicle's lithium-ion batteries, which were prone to thermal overload, essentially a risk of overheating leading to fires. Interestingly, all the affected batteries were supplied by LG Energy, a reputable name in the EV industry. Despite their track record for quality, these batteries seem susceptible to thermal issues when used in the I-Pace. Owners shared chilling tales of their vehicles spontaneously igniting while charging in their own garages, causing considerable property damage. Though thankfully no injuries were reported. Addressing these concerns became a top priority for Jaguar, leading to extensive recall process involving battery replacements and software updates to prevent overheating risks. In the aftermath, Jaguar conducted a thorough internal investigation to understand how such a critical flaw escaped their quality control. Collaborating quickly with LG Energy, they aim to identify the root cause and prevent further occurrences of thermal issues. Initially, it appeared Jaguar was swiftly addressing the situation, diligently tackling the thermal overload concerns. However, the reality of large-scale recall operations set in, revealing the initial fix is incomplete and necessitating yet another recall. This time, an additional 200 units were called back due to missing crucial software updates to prevent battery overheating. Adding to the frustration of I-Pace owners, Jaguar issued specific instructions for those affected by the recall, including a recommendation to charge vehicles outdoors for a full 30 days, even after receiving the necessary software update. While this demonstrates Jaguar's commitment to addressing the issue, it also hints at uncertainty regarding the underlying cause, which brings us to question the theory we just talked about, because what this shows is that this is not just affordable EVs having issues, that BYD wasn't cutting in production quality, or that the Chinese government is not regulating effectively. No, this is a global issue with this technology, and to find a solution for this burning question, engineers need to do more research, and to do that, they need data. But the fact that such incidents cause huge concern and doubt in public perception of EVs means that countries like China are starting to hide information. There is a massive population and rapid industrial growth in China, and they've emerged as the largest producer and consumer of electric vehicles worldwide. But the country is still full of untapped potential. However, with great volume comes significant risks. China has also become a hotbed for EV fire incidents, a fact that's not gone unnoticed. The number of reported EV fires in China has reached alarming levels, with thousands of incidents occurring each year. The last time Chinese agencies released official figures was in 2021. That year alone, over 3,000 incidents of electric vehicles catching fire were reported. This staggering number reflects the sheer scale of the problem and the urgent need for improved safety measures. The situation has become so critical that Chinese authorities have since restricted the release of further data on EV fires, making it difficult to obtain current statistics. But then a particularly alarming incident occurred in Hong Kong a few months ago, capturing significant attention. Japan. The incident involved a fire at the Kalon Bay charging station. A BYD EV, driven by a 53-year-old woman, suddenly burst into flames. Fortunately, she managed to escape to a safe distance, but the vehicle was completely consumed by fire. But at least she was safe. And that is because while Chinese quality standards may not always match those of Western automakers, the Chinese market sets high safety standards too. Among these is the crucial requirement that EVs remain safe for at least 30 minutes post-collision, allowing passengers ample time to evacuate before any potential fire risks escalate to life-threatening levels. However, it's disheartening to note that despite being sold in the Chinese market, some EVs fall short of this essential safety standard. Last year's toll incident tragically underscored this, marking one of the most fatal EV fire accidents to date. 4 lives were lost when an electric Volkswagen collided with a toll station in the Hangzhou highway. This particular incident starkly revealed the failure of the all-electric VW to meet the 30-minute safety delay requirement. Upon impact, the vehicle burst into flames, offering no window for passengers to escape. The swift ignition of the fire heightened existing safety concerns surrounding EVs. Despite firefighters' rapid response, they struggled to contain the blaze, leading to the vehicle's complete incineration. Beyond its immediate impact, this incident dealt a significant blow to the public perception and market performance of the Volkswagen brand in China. Following the tragedy, consumer confidence dwindled, leading to a noteworthy 25% decline in sales figures, according to Chinese sources. Despite the challenges highlighted by the VW toll incident, the momentum towards electric mobility remains unwavering. The environmental advantages of EVs, such as reduced greenhouse gas emissions and decreased reliance on fossil fuels, continue to propel the market forward, which is a bit scary to say the least. And here is the thing: although the thermal runaway is the major cause of these events, it is just the tip of the iceberg. Here is why. When a lithium-ion battery catches fire, the escaping gases, which are highly flammable, burn off in a relatively controlled manner. These gases, primarily consisting of volatile organic compounds and hydrogen, are released rapidly as the battery undergoes thermal runaway. As these gases burn, they are consumed by the fire and can no longer ignite, helping to manage the immediate risk of a secondary explosion. However, the toxic elements of these gases, such as hydrofluoric acid and other toxic byproducts, remain hazardous and pose a significant danger. These toxic gases require separate attention from first responders, who must use specialized equipment and protective gear to handle such incidents safely. The presence of these toxins necessitates careful decontamination procedures and immediate medical attention for anyone exposed. If the flammable components don't ignite immediately, they can accumulate, especially in confined spaces like parking garages. This accumulation can create a highly explosive environment. For instance, when a large number of electric vehicles are parked in an underground garage, the risk of gas accumulation becomes significant. An ignition source in such an environment, even something as minor as a spark from an electrical switch, could trigger a violent vapor cloud explosion. This type of explosion is characterized by rapid expansion of gas and a subsequent blast wave, which can cause extensive structural damage and pose serious risks to human life. It's astounding how much gas a single battery can produce. For example, a battery with just 1 kilowatt-hour of capacity can release between 500 and 6,000 liters of gas. Considering that an average electric vehicle may have 60, 70, or even 100 kilowatt-hours or more, the potential gas release is enormous. This means that a large EV battery can potentially produce a volume of gas comparable to that of a small swimming pool. And that is exactly what happened to a Tesla when the owner was going off-road and drove over debris that punctured the battery case. The driver continued to a garage, unaware of the internal damage. The punctured battery eventually ignited, and within 6 seconds, the vapor cloud appearing, 3 nearby cars were engulfed in the flames, demonstrating the rapid and destructive potential of these fires. Imagine if this happened in a garage full of EVs. And as more people adopt EVs, the likelihood of multiple vehicles being parked in close proximity increases, raising the risk. Another such mysterious event occurred at the HJA Auto City. Due to a minor error in battery design or a related component, one of the displayed EVs started smoking without warning. In this case, the staff's quick thinking averted a potential disaster. They swiftly pushed the smoking vehicle out of the showroom and into the parking lot. But here's the crazy part. Despite the prompt arrival of the firefighters, they couldn't extinguish the blaze, and the vehicle burnt down entirely. If you ask me, the toxic gases produced necessitate a breathing apparatus for first responders, as exposure to these fumes can cause serious respiratory problems and other health problems. This should be a serious concern for urban planners, emergency responders, and the public. And I know, according to the numbers, the number of EVs catching fires is way less than the number that are safely cruising the streets. But the question is, how sure are we? Think about it. If the largest manufacturer and consumer of EVs is China, and they are telling us the true data, how can we be sure? The only reason we know so much about what is happening there is because of social media. The widespread sharing of these incidents on social media has heightened public awareness and concern. Videos and images of burning EVs, such as the one from Hong Kong, created a sense of urgency for regulatory bodies and manufacturers to act swiftly. Some say that the public shouldn't be alarmed, but that is how we're staying on top of these issues. Remember when China was leading in the world in e-bike infrastructure? Do you know what happened at the end? Well, let me tell you. Between 2013 and 2017, over 10,000 fires were attributed to e-bikes. That's about 5 fiery incidents a day. Talk about a hot topic. And at the time, it was so strange that, in the middle of a quiet night, the city was sleeping and then bam, an e-bike battery decides to throw its own pyrotechnic party. One such incident in Chengdu saw a single e-bike ignite over 200 others, creating a spectacle of a mushroom cloud. In another harrowing event, an e-bike exploded in an elevator, hospitalizing 5. These aren't isolated sparks of madness, they're a pattern of peril. What was the deal with these explosive e-bikes? Well, it boils down to a few things: the improper charging, modified batteries, and the flammable nature of lithium batteries. Many riders in pursuit of longer ranges swap out their batteries for ones that pack more of a punch but lack safety mechanisms. And when these powerhouses are charged with mismatched adapters or left to juice up overnight, they can short circuit and turn into fireballs. But the public had enough, and China's taking steps to douse the flames with new regulations and safety measures. They completely changed their approach. Another main reason was the fact that these e-bike companies were manufacturing way more than needed, and some streets were becoming cramped parking spaces for these bikes that could suddenly explode and cause the next one parked to explode too. And the reason this only happened in China was because the Chinese government was pushing these companies to do more with sweet incentives. Does that sound familiar? Isn't that exactly what's happening now with EVs? If it ever comes to a point of more concern, we could do what China did back then. Just stop the manufacturing of new e-bikes and instead force companies to recycle the old ones. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.